Have you ever felt a silence so deep it felt heavy? The kind of silence that makes your heart race, asking questions you're not sure you want the answers to. Imagine a day when the entire universe experienced that kind of quiet, a day when heaven itself went silent. On that day, something happened that the world had never experienced before. There was no thunder rolling from the heavens, no mighty voice speaking from the clouds, no divine sign to part the skies, just silence. Jesus, the Son of God, stood before his accusers, the very one who had spoken galaxies into existence, who had calmed storms with a single command, now chose silence. They, the one whose words healed the sick, opened blind eyes, and even raised the dead, refused to utter a single word in his own defense. And in that moment, his silence spoke with more power, more depth, than any miracle he had ever performed. It was a silence filled with purpose, with love, with an ancient plan unfolding. As Roman soldiers pressed a crown of thorns onto his head and mocked him, heaven did not intervene. The celestial armies, legions of angels who could have descended in a flash of glory, remained still, as the crowds, swayed by fear and manipulation, shouted for his crucifixion. The very same angels who had once filled the night sky with songs of glory at his birth stood watching. Their hearts were surely breaking, but they were obeying the will of the Father. They were holding their breath, witnesses to the greatest act of love in history. So, why was heaven silent? Why did God not send fire from the sky to consume those who tortured his Son? Because this was the hour, the moment written into the fabric of time before the foundation of the world. This was the moment when divine love would not be declared by sound, but demonstrated through suffering. The silence of God was not a sign of abandonment. It was the sound of purpose. Redemption was being woven into the tapestry of human history. Prophecy was taking its final, painful breath. Your salvation, my salvation, was being purchased at an infinite cost when Jesus, bloodied and broken, hoisted the heavy wooden cross onto his shoulders and began the long walk to Golgotha. The silence continued. With every nail that pierced his hands and feet, with every drop of precious blood that fell to the dusty ground, heaven held its breath. Creation itself seemed to groan under the weight of that cosmic quiet as he hung suspended between earth and sky. This wasn't because God was distant or indifferent. It was because he was closer than ever, present in the suffering of his Son. The greatest and most profound rescue mission in the history of the universe was happening exactly as it had been foretold by the prophets centuries before. The silence was the necessary space for the sacrifice to be completed. And then, after hours of unimaginable agony, after bearing the full weight of the world's sin, Jesus broke the silence. With his last breath, he cried out, "It is finished." 3 words that shattered the quiet. 3 words that declared total victory. Heaven had been silent so that the Son could speak the final, definitive word. A word that still echoes through the corridors of time today. A word that tore the temple veil from top to bottom, shook the very foundations of the earth, and opened the way for every single one of us to come home to the Father. Heaven was silent for a moment, so that its love could speak for all of eternity. That silence wasn't emptiness. It was the prelude to our eternal song. Thank you for watching. If this message moved you, please consider sharing it. Subscribe for more content that explores the depths of faith. We'll see you in the next one.